Here. All right, hello. I am on two screens today. This is going to be a whole different ball game here. So unfortunately, Zoom is not allowing me to stream from my Zoom to Facebook today for whatever reason. So hopefully we do not have a problem tomorrow. Unfortunately, though, that does mean I don't have a PowerPoint on Facebook. So if you are over on Facebook, I would highly suggest you hop off of this live feed and come over, grab the Zoom link that was emailed to you about an hour ago, and you can watch with us on Zoom so that you can see the PowerPoint and communicate with us in the chat that way. I will see comments over here, but you guys are not going to get the full experience. All right. Sorry about that. Not a whole lot I can do about technical difficulties though. Okay, so for those of you on Zoom, I am going to share my screen here. And let's get rolling today. Let's get rolling. Everything's taking a hot second. My internet is apparently slow. Probably have a kid somewhere on a screen, even though I told him not to be. All right, guys. It is one of those days, isn't it? All righty. Tell you what, I was mentioning to everybody on the Zoom, it is dreary here. It is a little rainy, and we're having a day. We're having a coffee at 1 o'clock day, yeah. And fun little tip here for you guys. If you see any sort of like steamy nonsense, I literally have a diffuser in front of my face. So I want to be able to show up for you guys as much as I can here today. And I want to make sure that this experience is valuable to you. Let's click through the PowerPoint. All right. Friendly reminder about our prizes. You have the ability to earn these all week long. So if you are behind or any of that, you can catch up a little bit. Now the videos do go away. Keep that in mind. They go away at midnight each night. So if you are behind and you need to catch up, my advice would be to grab the VIP. The links to all of the recordings are going to be emailed out on Friday night, and then you'll have over the weekend to catch up. So if you need to catch up on homework or any of that kind of stuff, we will announce all of our prize winners on Sunday evening after we've given everyone the weekend. Okay, so here's how you earn those prizes. Show up live, introduce yourself in the Facebook group, complete the daily homework, invite a friend to this challenge. It is not too late for that. If your friend jumps in and they jump in at the VIP pass, they have access to everything and they'll be able to re-listen to this, okay? And then signing up for the VIP does get you access to prizes, obviously, and all the goodness that we got going on this week. Keep in mind that VIP, let's go through what that is real quick. If you sign up for the VIP, that is only going to be available through tomorrow when we begin at 1 p.m. Central Time. So if you haven't done that yet, it will be live and available for purchase only through tomorrow, Thursday, at 1 p.m. Central Time. When we start this, you guys will not be able to grab that. And there's a reason for that, and I'll explain that tomorrow. But I want you guys to jump in on that. So you get the workbook, okay? Currently, our VIPers have part 1 of their workbook. There's part 2 that's going to be coming to them after we're all wrapped up. There are a few bonuses that I'm throwing into that workbook for them, and I'm really excited for it. One of those is actually going to help them with today and the tool that we are learning today. The VIP after party Zoom, yesterday's was really powerful, guys. We had a couple people who got the VIP at the last minute, didn't hop in on that in time, but they're going to get all those recordings, because the third thing you get is all the recordings. You get all of them, the VIP, the regular trainings, so that you can listen, re-listen, catch up, okay? All right, let's review just a little bit what we did yesterday. So yesterday, excuse me, yesterday we learned, actually 2 days ago, let's backtrack a little farther. 2 days ago, we talked about 3 reasons why mindset is important for moms. We learned that moms set the tone, that we are the influencers in our households. We learned that what we do and what we say and how our emotions and mindset are is often how the rest of our family will follow in after us. We learned that you deserve more than just surviving. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You, as a creation, you have this piece that allows you to be more than just a survivor, more than just the bare minimum. And number 3, we learned that your mindset is the foundation. Excuse me, guys, I tell you what. Then we did that powerful homework where you guys took your piece of paper and you separated the lies from the truth. The things that you maybe used as excuses, the things that are why you can't do the things that you feel like you're supposed to do. And then we separated those from the truth and the things that you could do, that you can do. And we wrote across the top of that page that you are worthy of an extraordinary life. I hope you guys are believing that. I hope you guys are beginning to feel the power in that statement. I am worthy of an extraordinary life. So then yesterday, now we're to yesterday, we talked about gratitude. Gratitude. We learned that when scriptures repeat something, we can often look for signs of science confirming it. And we talked a lot about how gratitude works in our bodies. We learned a lot about why gratitude is so important, the science behind it, and the long-lasting effects of gratitude on our lives for like a long, long time. And we talked about practical gratitude, ways to actually make this a habit and a lifestyle. And how when we do that more often, we're strengthening the neural pathways. How good is that piece, guys? Can we just take a second right there and acknowledge how powerful that was when we uncovered that by practicing gratitude on a regular basis, that you are strengthening the neural pathways in your brain towards gratitude, therefore making it a habit. It was amazing. And then we did our awesome homework. So we made our gratitude contracts. And we committed to making gratitude a part of our lives. And that is something that I wish I would have learned sooner in my life. I really do. All right, are we ready for today? Let's get going. Today's tool is affirmations. And I know instantly I'm going to get groans and eye rolls and sighs, much like I did this morning when I taught my children math. You guys, why do we hate this? Okay, so when I taught birthing classes, so this is what a little bit about what I did before I did Zooms with moms. When I started, so about 10 years ago, I started a birth education business. I taught childbirth education classes. I was getting my doula certification in the process of all of that. But what I really loved the most, like I liked going to births. That was cool. And often the reason I really jumped in, I wasn't planning on that being like the thing I was going to do forever. But when I finally jumped into attending births as a doula, the reason was because my students who had taken my birth classes wanted me with them. They were like, we want you to be the person with us because you've taught us all these things about how our bodies work and how we're supposed to do these certain things in labor, but we need you to stand beside us and really walk through that with us. So that's why I became a doula. Okay. Now I do not attend births and I don't teach birthing classes anymore, although I do have kind of this idea to run that on Instagram and have an online thing, just because it is something I'm passionate about. We'll see about that. But what I loved teaching moms about was how the very words they spoke could impact their birth even months ahead of time. And so I would teach these classes and I would start talking to moms about affirmations, and you see all these like birthing affirmation things on the internet. And I would always get either, and because moms and dads attended these classes together, I would always get at least one mom and most dads in the room. Oh my gosh, affirmations. Or the eye rolls, or like just this look of, this is not a thing. This isn't gonna work. You're crazy. Okay, and how many of you, if we were in a room together and I said, raise your hand if when I say affirmations, you instantly are like, it's never gonna work. Yeah, I know. So what we're gonna talk about is not affirmations as you know them to be. We're gonna talk about realistic, practical affirmations and what that actually looks like on a daily basis. I want to just remind you guys, it's so weird talking to two screens, so I apologize if I'm not looking directly at everyone. I want to encourage you, just like we did yesterday, to set your preconceived ideas to the side on what you think affirmations are. Because what we're really talking about today is the power of our words. The power of the words that come out of our mouths every single day. That is what we are talking about. Because our words have the ability to create atmospheres, to create the environments that we are living in. It's a powerful thing, guys. So that's what we're going to dig into. Okay, so as always, we're going to start with, what does scripture say about affirmations and about our words? What does the Bible say? And then we're going to talk about what science tells us. Hold on a second. I'm getting weird requests on Facebook. Hang on a second, guys. Since we're on two screens, it's like super bizarre. Okay. So let's start with, what does scripture say about affirmations? All right, we're going to go through a few. Matthew 12:36 says, but I tell you that everyone will have to give account on the day of judgment. So serious. For every empty word they have spoken. Okay. That one is Proverbs 16:24. Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Proverbs 18:21. The tongue has the power of life and death. and those who love it will eat its fruit. Proverbs 12:18. The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Isaiah 55:10-11. As the rain and snow come down from heaven and do not return to it without watering the earth and making it bud and flourish, so that it yields seed for the sower and bread for the eater. So is my word that comes out of my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. If our words do not return without doing what we sent them to do, then I think we should be very cautious about the words that we choose to speak. Ecclesiastes 10:12. Words from the mouth of the wise are gracious, but fools are consumed by their own lips. Psalm 141:3. There's only two more, guys. Set a guard over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips. If you want to read about words, the whole book of Proverbs is just loaded. But this one from Psalms is one of my favorites that I pulled up here today. Set a guard over my mouth and keep watch over the door of my lips. In Luke 6:45, a good man brings good things out of the good stored in his heart. An evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored in his heart. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Okay. Here we go. That is what scripture tells us about our words. They are powerful. They have the ability to create life or create death. They have the ability to do what we say they are going to do, right? Words are powerful. And if you don't believe that, I'm going to show you in science how that works for us, for our bodies. Okay? So let's talk when science is going to confirm what the scriptures are repeating. So we know for sure about words. We're going to talk about two examples. One of those is Dr. Masaru Emoto, his experiment, and then an IKEA plant experiment, believe it or not, in the Middle East. So we're going to start with the IKEA experiment. In the Middle East, they did an experiment. IKEA funded it, and they took plants to schools. Okay, so those of you who are on the Zoom, you can see the pictures. They took these plants to schools, and they put them in a controlled environment. Okay, both plants received the same amount of light, water, fertilizer, all of it. Both plants were treated the exact same physically. Now, it's important that you know that plants are carbon-based and our bodies are carbon-based. They have similar responses emotionally, okay? And I know that's weird, but we've actually, through science, we know now that plants have responses to external things, not just physical, to a lot of things. Okay, we're going to kind of dig in there, but they also have hormonal responses and emotional responses and all of it. They feel things just like we do. So this plant study revealed that words can cause a plant to live or die. So the environments were completely controlled. The only difference is that one plant was complimented and had positive words spoken to it. And the other plant was bullied and had negative words spoken to it. One had life spoken over it, and the other had death spoken over it. Guess what happened? You can see on the picture that the one that had life spoken over it flourished. It grew taller. It I mean, look at the color on those leaves. It's growing exactly as it was meant to, and then some. The one that had negative words, words of death, it was bullied. Those words spoken over that plant caused it to die, caused it to wither up, to have leaves falling off. They proved that the words spoken to a carbon-based life form can influence its ability to thrive or not. Now, what are we doing here in this challenge? What was my promise to you? We are going to take you from surviving to thriving. From surviving to thriving. We are not here to speak negative words. I'm not here to have you being hard on yourself and talking about how you're not good enough. Yesterday in the VIP, we dug into this a little more, and we talked about the lie of not enoughness, the lie of being not good enough. That is not what we are here to do, guys. We are here to speak life and positivity and speak the things into existence that we want to happen. Because what will happen is our bodies will respond, our moods will respond, our emotions will respond. Okay, so we're going to talk some more about this. We're going to go to our next example, and that's Dr. Masaru Emoto. He's a scientist, and he discovered that words can change the molecular structure of water. Our bodies are comprised of quite a bit of water, so water is important to our survival. Okay. What he learned was that by doing nothing else except for writing words, labeling these bottles of water with very specific words, that based on the type of word he labeled them with, the molecular structure of the water changed. So on the screen here, you're going to see that the difference between labeling the water evil versus the word thank you, versus gratitude, if you will. The difference, the evil, the water molecules look, I mean, they look ugly and yucky and not thriving. They've turned a brownish color. In fact, the water in the bottles, he found that over time, the longer that evil label was on there, the water would get murky. The water would get cloudy. It was not thriving. The actual molecules were not healthy. Versus the words of gratitude, the thank you. It's like a really gorgeous, sparkly snowflake. It was clear water. It was healthy. All of the things that it was just this beautiful, sparkling water. Some more examples were love and gratitude were written on one, and it's beautiful. Eternal was written on another. Peace on another. And then you can see the one that's a yellowish, brownish color. You disgust me. And just no one said anything, right? So it's not like the plant experiment where someone spoke those words to the plants. In this case, it was just a label written on it. So here's what I want to highlight to us right now. I want us to keep in mind, and this may not be a super long day here, guys. We're going to be done in 45 minutes for sure. I want us to be very, very aware of the words that come out of our mouth and the words that we write on ourselves, on our home, the words that we see on a regular basis. Just like the plants if those words come out of our mouths, we're not going to thrive. Okay, so let's talk about some examples of that. Examples of words that are not helping us thrive. Let's start with this. What about our hatred for Mondays? Yeah? What about shirts that we wear, or we'll stick with things we say, okay? Our hatred for Mondays. If we are constantly saying that Mondays are the worst and we just have to make it through and nothing good happens on a Monday, etc. Do you think Mondays are going to be good? No, of course not. We are creating the thing that we don't want just by talking about it in that way. If we are constantly talking about our marriage and we're talking about how, yeah, I just don't have a very good marriage, do you think that's going to help your marriage get better? Do we think that that is going to strengthen your relationship with your spouse? Let's go to this super common one. I'm so overwhelmed. We're just gonna let that sit for a second. I'm so overwhelmed. How do you think you're gonna feel when you speak that? Possibly overwhelmed? Could it be? I can tell you from personal experience, when I go down that road of I'm so stressed, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. That's the reality that I've created. That is what begins to happen. Versus switching my verbiage around and speaking words like, I need help. I'm not sure what to do, but I'm looking for a solution, right? Switching the framework around to one of hope, to one of life, to one of solutions, not problems. When we make that shift in the words that come out of our mouth, we create the reality we are seeking. We're creating the reality that we are speaking by speaking out life, positivity, and solutions. It applies to how we talk about ourselves. It applies to how we talk about our spouse, about our kids, all of it. So I want us to be aware of that. The other thing I want us to be aware of is what we are choosing to put in front of our eyes. So I had a shirt. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. I had a shirt and it said, ugh, Monday. Okay. It's just how I felt at that time of my life. When I wore that on Mondays, I just want you to how do you think my attitude was towards that Monday? Not great. It was an ugh Monday kind of day. So I got rid of the shirt. I literally threw it in the trash because I didn't want to donate it to somebody else to have a crappy day. Okay. I had to remove the words that were speaking death over my day. I remember when I learned this about the water bottle labels. I went through my kids' closets and I got rid of anything that said diva or sassy, because I was literally putting a label that the molecular structure of their bodies was responding to. I wore my good vibes shirt intentionally for this day of our challenge. Because what do I want to speak over myself? Good things, good vibes. We're not doing negative. We're not doing death. We're not doing overwhelm. We are flipping the switch. Well, actually, we're flipping the switch off. We're flipping it off. We are speaking that we are seeking solutions. We're speaking that we are having a good day, that we are full of good vibes, that our kids are so smart, that our kids, what a blessing that my daughter has such a great gift of communication. Not, why won't she ever shut up? We are literally speaking over our, and this is a whole soapbox here, but I want you to be very, very aware. So let's go to the next slide and let's talk about what affirmations look like practically, other than just being aware, right? Other than getting rid of the, glass in your cupboard that says coffee all morning, coffee all day till it's time for wine, right? Like, let's speak out and over ourselves things that are uplifting and positive and that are going to breathe life into us. So some examples are being, aware of the clothes that we're wearing. What is on you? Because that will become what is in you. What about the words on our walls? Do you have things that say, listen, I love cute, funny signs, okay? But if they are speaking chaos or negativity or curses, literally cursing, I'm not going to have them on my wall. I'm not going to have it in my bathroom, no matter how cute it is, because that's what everyone is going to see when they walk in there. And if they're going to see it, then they're going to think it. They might even say it out of their mouth. And then what are we doing? Right? So affirmations is less about, I believe that I am XYZ. Those are great. Those are great. And I have whole sets of affirmation cards. I gave them as a free bonus when I released my book. I envision the birth that I want to happen. And right, I have all these birthing ones. I have all of it. But it's less about that and more about what we see and what we speak and what we're labeling on ourselves that is affirming either life or death. It's either affirming the good or it's affirming the things that are dragging us down and sucking the life out of us. Because that's how we feel on a daily basis, right? Have you ever just felt like somebody just like kicked you in the knee and knocked you down and you don't have the energy to get up? Yeah. We're doing that to ourselves with the words that we speak and the things that we're allowing ourselves to look at and label ourselves with. I highly suggest seeing, seeing scripture places. If you are really in a dark place, if you are really in a down, overwhelmed, can't see the light of day space, I remember a time in my life where I covered my kitchen cabinet doors in scriptures. I got cardstock out and a permanent marker. It was not beautiful. I mean, my handwriting's not bad, but like, I had to see words of life because it was all I had. It was all I had. I didn't know any other way to function during the day without seeing that every day because I didn't have the brain capacity. I was struggling with postpartum PTSD and massive postpartum anxiety and depression, and I couldn't see the way out. I couldn't see the other side. But I knew that if I could get words of life in front of my eyes, that maybe it wouldn't be quite so dark in that tunnel. And so I literally taped cardstock, permanent marker scriptures. I just went through in a like moment of desperation. I went through and I just picked like 10 scriptures that I knew would breathe life into me. We were also at the same time, our son was really struggling with his autism spectrum symptoms, and it was just a lot. It was a lot. I still have some of those scriptures on the little cardstock, and they're like tucked in a little file. And sometimes I look at it and I'm like, gosh, those words saved me. It totally saved me, because I needed, even if it was a little bitty tiny bit of light at the end of a tunnel, way, 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 way down there. Those words, seeing them every single day, took me to a place where I could not feel so dark and not feel so hopeless. Other examples are going to be speaking uplifting words over yourself every day, choosing words. It's a choice. Every word that comes out of our mouth, I tell my kids this every single day. It is so important to me. Every single word that comes out of our mouth is a choice. And we are either choosing words that speak life, or we are choosing words that speak death and destruction and overwhelm and chaos and all of that yucky stuff. So we want to make the choice. Okay. Feels like a heavy day, doesn't it? Man. All right, let's talk about our homework. Our homework's actually kind of fun. It's a self-assessment. All right, and it's going to be live in the group in the next couple minutes. Goes live at 1:45. We're going to do this self-assessment to determine areas where you may need to up level in the area of affirmations. And remember, these aren't just looking at affirmation cards, although it can be. It's working on the words that come out of our mouth, the things we let in front of our eyes, and then labels we're putting on ourselves. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being I need a lot of work in this, and 5 being I do this very well, rate the following statements. I have items of clothing in my wardrobe that speak negative or unwanted words over my life. So if you know you need to purge a few things and you're not doing so great in this area, and you need to get rid of the shirts that are not speaking life over you, that would be a 1. If you can't think of a single thing, you're doing great. 5. Maybe it's not you and it's a kid that you need to go through their wardrobe. Maybe make it a 3. Okay, this is your assignment. I have words in my home or on my walls that do not match the vision I have for the atmosphere in my home. Vision of peace, of calm, of blessing, whatever it is. I have scriptures surrounding me, both physically and mentally. Is this something that are you thinking on these things? Remember, we talked about that on the first day. Whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, think on those things. So are you seeing scripture, and are those positive life-giving words floating around in your head on a regular basis? I speak uplifting words throughout my day. Okay. So you're going to do that. And then in the group, underneath the homework post for today, you're just going to share the area that the number 1 area. Like, where's the first thing that you feel like you need to make some progress in? What area is most important to you that you are committing to working on? That's it. That's it, guys. We're just going to take baby steps, because nobody ever makes massive life changes. That overwhelm switch can't just get turned off by doing all the big things, because that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. We want this to be sustainable. We want this to be a habit, and habits are made by doing something over and over and over and over again. Sure, when I change my diet and I start working out, I feel good right away, but I'm not going to see the actual changes unless I do it on repeat. I tell people this all the time about essential oil usage, right? You guys know I do this. I educate others on essential oils. It's part of my job. Sure, the oils are going to work one time, but if you're looking to take care of something chronic, you don't just do it one time and it magically disappears, because it didn't get that way overnight. If it didn't get this way overnight, guys, then it's not going to be resolved overnight. But I can promise you this, you're going to begin to see little tiny changes every time you implement these steps. Every time you choose gratitude, every time you choose to speak life over yourself or a child or your home. Okay? I'm super proud of you guys for staying with this already for 3 days. You are awesome. I'm so happy to be here with you. It is 1:45. We've done it in 45 minutes. The homework post should be live any minute. You guys can grab that link and fill out your form and tell us what you're gonna work on in the comments. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. for VIPers. Give me about 15 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna hydrate. I'm gonna make sure my kids are all set, that nobody's gonna run through screaming. And then we'll run for about 20 minutes in there, maybe 30, depending on questions. But here we are. If you have not jumped on the VIP and you want to grab recordings or the workbooks or the bonuses that I'm throwing in, make sure you do that before tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time. That will close tomorrow at 1 p.m. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you soon.